Hello everybody, and welcome back to Space Engine. Well, it's been a couple weeks. I probably should have done this a week ago. Yeah, but whatever. Better late than never. Anyways, let's just get right into it, shall we? Nope. Alright, I was told to go to this here location. Can I find it? I most certainly can. Apparently it's a pretty, moon around an interesting planet. Wow, it is quite gorgeous. Probably because it reminds me of Earth, and I'm very fond of Earth. Those polar caps are quite big, actually. Nice aurora going on there. Atmosphere's kind of thin, but actually, wait, where's the atmospheric pressure? Yeah, it's quite thin. Apparently, its parent planet has rings and is pretty. Oh, that was not a lie. That is indeed a truth. Oh, look at that. Oh, the game's loading again. It's doing that thing up here in the corner. That's really annoying. Actually reminds me, I need to redo my Space Engine trailer video and like make it not crap. Oh well. Yeah. Ooh, there are shepherd moons. Oh, I love that. Shepherd moons are great. Saturn has a few. I think Rhea is one. I keep wanting to say Amalthea, but I'm pretty sure that's around Jupiter. Anyways, yeah, a little shepherd moon. Actually, ring systems are very interesting in that they let's speed this up. In that they're kind of an analog for planetary formation. Because so you get these like rings of debris, and you get little shepherd moons and stuff that build up in them. And sometimes you can actually get like full objects forming out of rings. There was a thing that was grown out of Saturn's rings called Peggy. It showed up randomly. And then I think it's disappeared since then, but it was interesting to watch like a moon form from debris in real time. That's kind of nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Stick to 1 times. Alright, other place to go to. Oh, also, I've been told that I keep missing people's requests. That isn't entirely my fault. Sometimes, if you just like spam a whole bunch of things, YouTube just automatically says, oh, this is spam, and I don't see it. I wish it wouldn't do that, but it does anyways. However, that being said, try to stick to 1 or 2, like, recommendations of video. Don't make a comment that's like 5, we passed through a nebula there, that's like 5, like, things all at once, 'cause that's, I don't know. I like recommendations, it's just, it breaks the YouTube algorithms, and it's kind of annoying sometimes. But keep recommendations coming. Like, don't stop. Just spread them out, maybe, or pick and choose. Alright, we have a frozen ice world with life. Alright, subglacial. You know, it's actually kind of interesting. It has this kind of redding pattern on the ice. Europa has that too. And they don't know why. It might be minerals in the ice itself. It could be tholins that are deposited, or it could be like salts from the ice itself coming up, or even life. And that's the interesting one, because some people have said, you know, well, we don't see these on Enceladus. And my views of Enceladus are kind of depends really. I'm not sure if we actually will find life on Enceladus. My biggest issue is that Enceladus is very young. Like, it's actually only a few million years old. So it might very well be habitable, but is it inhabited? I'm kind of skeptical because of its young age. Like, it seems to be that it could very well be only a few million years old. We could be wrong on that, but data kind of indicates that. And also, when Cassini passed through, that's actually information on this, passed through the jets coming out of it, and they did a bit of a sample. They found a whole bunch of material that life could use to metabolize, which is great, but there was a lot of it, which means that there might not be anything living there to consume it. And actually, a lot of the moons from, like, in the orbit of Titan to Saturn seem to be fairly young. Titan might be a bit older, and Titan actually does have depletion of materials that life could use, which is interesting in my book. But Europa, on the other hand, is quite old. Like, it's a very old moon. In fact, all the Jovian moons are quite old, so the chance of life being on Europa or under, I would say is probably more likely than Enceladus. Enceladus would be easier to explore, depending on how. Well, because Enceladus has non-stop active geysers, whereas Europa has intermittent ones. But again, this is just opinions on my point. I still say we need to check out Enceladus. Like, regardless of if it is inhabited or not, it screams for investigation. And there's actually this one group that wants to send a probe to Enceladus, and I really hope they can do it because that would be great. I'm just saying that because of the possibility of it being only a few million years old, there might not have been enough time for life to start. Now, there could, isn't what I'm going to, by the way, there could be life there regardless if it was, transited or if it was deposited there via panspermia from another moon or from Earth or from Mars or Venus. But I had one idea I was thinking about. Because Enceladus is so young, what if there was ice moons that predated Enceladus that may have been around for long enough for life, like simple life, to develop, and then they were shredded through tidal forces or an impact, and the ice and debris from that moon or moons coalesced to form the current Saturnian moons, or at least a few of them, namely Enceladus. And what if you'd had like this can all happen with over the course of few thousand years to a couple million years for like the accretion of like small moons around planets. So I had a thought where you could have a moon that predates Enceladus that had life develop on it, and then it was ripped to shreds, and life just got frozen and locked into basically icebergs. I want to say comets, but not really comets, it's more just ring material that then coalesced to form Enceladus, and then once Enceladus was big enough, you had tidal heating that made oceans form, and then this life was reanimated. So there could be life on Enceladus that predates Enceladus, that's from a precursor moon of Enceladus. Now, I haven't read this anywhere, this was just something I just came up with when I was thinking to myself. I'm pretty sure somebody else might have already come up with it, I don't know. I assume that nothing I think of is original, because it probably isn't. No matter how brilliant I think I am, which I actually don't think I'm that brilliant at all, but I don't know. Either way, it was something interesting. I would love to hear somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, have their opinion on this. This is a nice little planet, actually. Subglacial. But I thought it was kind of a cool idea. It's like, you have life on a moon that originated on another moon that was destroyed, and their current home is made from their old home. So it'd be kind of like living in a house, tearing down the house, and then making a new house on the plot using some of the material. Boom. But the question about that would that technically be panspermia? Because you think about it, you have life from one moon being transferred to another, but both moons are made from the same material. That's a question. I don't know. I love this stuff. It's quite great. I was also told I should visit some of the more promising K-type stars in our solar neighborhood, because I was talking about them last video, and I might just do that. I was also told to talk about Andy Weir's new book, Artemis, but I haven't read it, so I don't know what to talk about it. I like Andy Weir, his books are cool. The Martian is pretty great. I haven't actually read it through, I've kind of thumbed through it. I need to actually sit down and read it one of these days. But yeah, beyond that, I haven't had much to say about it. I hear it wasn't as good as The Martian. I don't know, I probably should have thought ahead and actually read a review on it or something, but, well, this is me we're talking about. Anyways, yeah, you know what, let's go to a K-type star. Which one should I tell you? Epsilon Indi, Sigma Draconis. I like Sigma Draconis because the name is cool, and that alone makes me want to do it. So we're gonna go there. However, it has different names. We'll see if... No, not the cluster. Let's see if its other name pops up. Ah, it does pop up. Boop. Boop. Flump. Yeah, K-type. It's an orange dwarf. very quickly becoming my favorite brand of star. What kind of stuff do we have going on here? We got a gas giant. We have a hot Selena, hot desert, a warm desert. That sounds pleasant. A cool gas giant and a cool Selena. Let's go to the cool gas giant because, you know, it's cool. Anyways, pretty standard. Bands, storms. What are those storms? You know that Neptune had like the strongest recorded winds. They were like over 2,000 kilometers an hour or something like that. I forget the exact number because, again, I should have planned ahead. Well, I don't really plan these videos ahead. I just talk about whatever dribble comes out of my brain, basically. So, I don't know. To be perfectly honest, I started uploading videos not so much to do content, but because it was public speaking practice. Like, literally. Because, I stutter a lot, as you may notice, because I talk really fast and trip over myself, and ironically, I have issues with, like, simple statements, but I can, like, quote media flawlessly, and that's just embarrassing. Let's go to the warm desert. I don't know, so I originally started doing videos solely just as practice for enunciation, and, well, pretty much just that. It's like public speaking practice. It's like talking into a mirror, but without using a mirror. You know, instead I use the internet, and you have to just, you know, bear with me. But people seem to apparently appreciate it, so I keep doing it, because that's its own reward. It's fun. Actually, there's a few videos I need to, like, redo. That moon landing video, I still get conspiracy theorists who get mad at me about it. And looking at the video is actually very poorly done. I need to redo it so it's a little more concise. And I don't know. It's like it's actually a fairly good revenue builder because people come in and it gives me views. But I don't know. Revenue and views aren't worth it if the video itself is absolute garbage. So I'm probably going to delete it one of these days and do a new one that's actually like more concise and gets all the points. You know, like third-party verification and all that. It doesn't really matter. You can't actually change a conspiracy theorist's point of opinion because they have this like complex in their head where they can't possibly be wrong. And since there's no other explanation as to why the information doesn't match up, it turns out, you know, it has to be a conspiracy because there's no logical other reason because they can't possibly be wrong. It's kind of like white nationalists. And I'm not talking about like the ones who like dress up and LARP, even though that's what most of them do. They're just a LARPing group. But a lot of the ones on the internet, it's usually just edgy teenagers who will later regret it. But if you actually like read what they talk about, it's actually kind of sad because a lot of them believe this or that solely because they can't get a girlfriend. Like literally that's what it is. They can't get a girlfriend or attract women. And they can't possibly conceive of any reason as to why women would hate their awful personalities, so it must be the Jews' fault. And it's funny, but also really sad, because it's like, wow, you're blaming other people for your problems, and you weave it into this political thing. It's not entirely their fault, you know, they're just angry teenagers, and like all extremist groups, they're preyed upon. But whatever, that's politics. Well, is that politics or social commentary? I guess it depends. I don't know, I have more important things to do with my life than to, like, read their posts, but I've been doing a lot of case research for a book I've been working on about conspiracy theories, and unfortunately I have to read some of their garbage to kind of go along with it, because I have to look at many different types. Mostly I look at how people interact and how they respond, or how they, approach a debate. Some people I've talked to actually approach debates logically, and I had this one discussion with this flat earther. Pretty sure they actually legit believe the earth is flat, but that's not the important part. The important part was how they went about debating it. They were very civil, they'd never used caps lock, they never used insults, and they were actually very pleasant to talk to, and I found that actually very, very interesting and very nice, because a lot of times that's not what it's like. So I was actually very pleased, and I've actually had that happen a couple times, where I've had people, but they're conspiracies, but they're actually very pleasant and generally intelligent people. It's just they believe dumb things because of various reasons, but the person themselves are not dumb, and you can actually debate with them, and it's an actual debate, like a discussion, and you actually feel good afterwards. It's not like talking to a chemtrail conspiracy theorist where you want to like put forks in your eyes because they're so dumb that it like hurts you physically. You didn't see that, but I was actually doing the motion of stabbing things in my eye. But I talk with my hands like Carl Sagan, but I'm closer to a radio personality. Nobody ever really sees me. I think you've only seen me in like one video, and that was when I was doing underwater camera stuff. I think I deleted that video actually because it was really bad. I don't know. No, wait! 2 videos. I was doing cosplay stuff like 4 years ago. Attack on Titan stuff. Yeah, I had my costume. I had long hair then. I don't have long hair anymore. I still have the beard, but I don't have long hair anymore. I got rid of the ponytail a long time ago. What was I talking about? Oh, conspiracy theorists and case research. It's just interesting. Ooh, there we go. Because like I like there we go, tripping over myself. I like looking more at the psychology behind why they believe, like what they believe. Not so much what they believe. I don't actually care what they believe as long as it's not like hate speech. So like when I'm talking to them, I don't actually care what they have to say. The content of what they're saying isn't the important thing, and I don't really pay attention to it. I mostly pay attention to how they convey it and how they respond to counter evidence. Like on my Twitter, I try not to, but I occasionally talk to flat earthers, and I always give them the same posts. I always say something along the lines of, too bad for space tourism, and I post the same few links. And I do that every time. And it isn't because it's a checkmate, moment, because you can't change their opinions. I do it because it just eliminates variables. Like, I keep the points fairly similar, and the opening arguments fairly similar, just to see how they respond. And there's 3 different, oh, that's right, it's a binary, so there's going to be 3 different light zones. And it's interesting, because they actually think when I'm talking to them, they think that I actually care what they have to say, or that I'm actually, like, debating them, but I'm not. I'm just studying them. It's like an ornithologist watching ducks at a pond. You don't really care what the ducks have to say, you're just interested in how they go about their day. But, I don't know. It's interesting, but they always seem to think that I actually care what they have to say. It's like, no. It's like, if you want to debate something like politics, or movies, or something that actually has, like, opinion-based, then sure, we can debate it. There's life here. But, if you're just gonna spout, like, conspiracies that are just verifiably wrong, then no, there's no point in discussing it, because it's verifiably wrong. Let's go here. Like, but of course, that's dependent on conspiracy to conspiracy. Some of them, I don't actually honestly know. Like, who killed JFK? I'm pretty sure it was Oswald, but you never really know. The CIA really did not like JFK at the time, so who knows? Maybe it's actually like a, what do you call it, a hybrid. Maybe Oswald was acting alone, and the CIA knew he was going to do it, but they just let it happen. I do not endorse that conspiracy. I'm just making jokes at this point. I'm pretty convinced that it was Oswald, but again, it's like case by case, where some conspiracies like, are chemtrails real? No. That conspiracy was started because of an Air Force paper about weather modification on battlefields. It was a hypothetical paper, it wasn't actually real, and somebody saw that and went, oh, contrails, it's happening right now. And then people look at cloud seeding and say, look, it's chemtrails, or they look at ideas for solar geoengineering, and it's like, look, it's chemtrails, and it's like, no, nobody's doing any of that right now. Cloud seeding is done very, like, location to location, and the solar geoengineering isn't being done, it's just an idea to, like, put sulfur in jet fuel. Or and then people are like, look, there's, you find aluminum particles, and that proves this, and it's like, no, because that actually can't be verified independently, but alright. So, like, conspiracies that are verifiably wrong, I'll talk to the people just to get a handle of how they think, but I don't actually care about why they think, or what they think. Everyone's allowed to have opinions. As long as it doesn't hurt them or somebody else, I don't care. You think the Earth is flat? Go for it. You think chemtrails are real because you don't understand what a contrail is? Go for it. Because apparently water vapor is scary. Actually, with that, I usually use the, because people always ask me, it's like, oh, if contrails are just water vapor, where does the water come from? You know, jets don't run on water. So it's like, alright, what is jet fuel? Jet fuel is basically a type of kerosene, because kerosene is a very wide range of materials. So I usually grab a generic kerosene type, and I do a chemical equation, you know, a balanced equation. It's like what happens when you burn this hydrocarbon kerosene jet fuel, basically, in oxygen, and you get a lot of carbon dioxide and water vapor. And it's like, it's magic, it's chemistry. Conservation of mass. All those hydrogen atoms don't just disappear when you burn them. But they don't care. They really don't care. Again, it's all about they can't possibly comprehend they might be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Like, I'm wrong a lot. I used to think aspartame was bad, just because I used to think it was bad. But after looking into it, it's actually, like, not. And I was like, oh, well, alright, that's changed my opinions based on the facts at hand. And now I no longer say things like aspartame is worse than alcohol, because it actually isn't, apparently. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm wrong frequently. There's no shame in admitting you're wrong. In fact, it's a really good trait to have. What's that? That's a cluster, isn't it? Let's go to this globular, then leave it off there. You know, I had an idea, or I had, like, some topics to talk about, but I just got distracted with other things. But whatever. That's 21 minutes. Thank you all for watching. I'll do another video soon. Again, I try to aim for at least once a week for these, just so I have time for people to comment. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment, subscribe, like, help out my science projects if you want. I'll have a link in the description for my crowdfunding campaign. And we'll go from there. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and space.